Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So this is the part 2 of the Bustier Princess that Bustier talk we started. So if you don't know what the part 1, I'll be dropping the link to the part 1 in the description box. So please don't forget to like, drop a comment and subscribe. Thank you. So let's start. So for this middle part, what I'm going to do first for this middle yoke, this part, I'm going to want to cut out the lace for it first, and after cutting out the lace I'll go ahead to cut out my yoke, so which is what I'm doing here. So you just go ahead, cut out the lace first, then you cut out the yoke, and whatever you have here is what you will use to cut out for the Ankara fabric. So that's what I'm just trying to do right now. So I have gone ahead to cut out my fabric pattern and my lace pattern. So for the front, how I explained, you cut out the lace part, and that other part that we cut out, we use it to cut out the Ankara part, which is the down part. And this is my side body, for the side border is for this, and I've gone ahead to cut out my lace. So I will just want to show you how it will be. So you just want to place it on it like this. So, and I've also gone ahead to cut out my lining. So I'm just going to be starting with the front. That's why I'm showing you the front first. So this is what my front is also going to look like, and I'll just want to show you how we are going to lay it to sew this side. So you just place the side like this, and you might also want to use an hemming gum to join it to the Ankara part, and you just want to place it like this. So before then, we want to go ahead to cut out our breast part. So this is the lining part, and I'll just place it as it should be and go to my sewing machine and sew in by 1/2 inches on both sides. And after doing this, next thing I want to do now is to come to cut my breast part. So for the breast part, I'm using a wadding, so you could use a wadding for yours. So I would just want to go ahead and illustrate how I'm going to cut this out. So please just try to watch carefully. So this, it's expected that you notched your under bust so that it could serve as a guide while cutting your wadding out. So I'm just going to place it like this. I don't know, the way I cut my own, I just try to make it easy for myself so I don't have to like worry also. So while placing like this, what I would just want to do is to cut it out as it is. And after cutting out as it is, I'll just from the up part go in by 1/2 inches or 3/4 of an inch and cut out. So that's what I'll be doing for this middle part, center front first. So that's what I'm trying to do now. Just try to cut it out as it is and bring out the wadding and go ahead to cut out 1/2 inches or 1/4 of an inches there. So that's just my own easy step which I just try to follow. So that's it for the side, and for this other part I'll also go ahead to cut out, just as you can see, and do a slight curve at this other side because I didn't want to waste my, I don't know, not like not wanting to, but I just want it to be minimal. I do not want to cut much. So just go ahead, cut like this out, and after cutting out, the next thing I just want to do is to use my marker to trace it out. So for this part, I intentionally did not put it on speed so that you could understand what I'm doing here. So I felt like the other part was more explanatory than this. So I just went ahead to open it a bit and we'll try to use my marker to mark it out. And I'll just go ahead to cut this out, and I'll do this for both sides. So I just hope this is explanatory for you. So you just get a wadding. And if you don't mind, you might not want to also use a wadding. You might just want to use your cloth gum on it and double it. If you double it well, and as far as your curve is well patterned, as far as you cut out your curve very well, your top bustier is still going to form very well. So this is it. I'm just going ahead to cut out the second part. And after now, what we want to do is to sew. So for this, I'm just trying to focus on the front first before we move to the back. So the front, after we are done with the front, we go to the back, and the back is a bit more technical than the front because of the back loop and the keyhole neckline. So after cutting out, so what is going to happen next is, just as we placed before now, the lace pattern and everything, I'm just going to go ahead, place it like that and sew to my sewing machine. So this is what I have after sewing to my sewing machine. After sewing it, and I've gone ahead to also iron it. So literally for this front part, our front part is actually ready. So this is the lining part of it, which I'll also gone ahead to sew, and I'll just want to use the lining to put it over. I just want to use the lining also. So One thing I had wanted to you should note is that while sewing is that you're going to leave about half inches here, so that you're going to use it to sew it round. So just as you can see here, so the half inches which you're going to leave is what you're going to serve as your turnover for your lining for this upper. So please, if you don't understand, you can drop a comment and I will try to explain it well again. So what is literally happening here is that, so while joining, what is happening, what you should do just that, just stop by half inches and understand that that half inches is what you're going to use to turn over, use to sew for the lining turnover. So after that, you just go to press when you turn it over, and I'll say with that we are done with the front part. So we'll be heading to the back part after this. Okay, so this is what my back look like after cutting out of the pattern paper. I just went ahead to add half inches round, and for the side I added also half inches. So the reason why it's like this side you'll be adding a little allowance is because there's going to be waist snatching at the back and the differences. So these are the boning I'll be using. I'll be needing about a yard of plastic boning and regular boning. So this is the part where I'll be sewing my boning to, which is the black lining. So I'll just want to illustrate how I'll go about this now. So first of all, I want to notch the midpoint of it, and I'll be sewing my boning away from the midpoint by half inches away. So I'll be sewing my boning away and half inches away from the top and half inches away from the bottom. So you just go ahead to your sewing machine and ensure it is half inches away from the midpoint. Then go to the other edge, sew my boning half inches away at that side, and close it. I just want to show you how it is so you understand what it is. So this is what the boning lines, how I sewed the boning on. And the next thing after this you want to do now is to iron it. So ensure you have half inches away from the midpoint, half inches away from the dam. So right here I'm done ironing, and I want to turn over with my right side of the fabric, which is the Ankara part of it. So don't forget you're going to be doing this on the lining part, and you go ahead to place it like this. And what you'll be doing, you'll be sewing only the midpoint and the neck part, which is the upper part of it. So like I said again, this is what you're going to have. So you go ahead, sew only the midpoint from that half inches that we left, and you also go ahead to sew the center part. And when you're done with that, you just want to turn it over. And after, so this is what I have after turning over. So the next thing I will want to do now is my plastic boning. But before, so for this plastic boning, you should be using about 0.2 inches plastic boning. You don't need it to be too big. So for this plastic boning, at the point where I sewed my boning is where I'll place the plastic boning. So just like this, as you can see, this is how I'm going to place the plastic boning, and I will just want to go to my sewing machine and sew down. So don't forget that when sewing your plastic boning, you will not want to allow it to get to the end. You are going to leave about an half inches so that when joining this to your blouse, it won't affect your sewing machine, because you will not want to sew on it. So you just want to go your sewing machine on those lines and sew on them. So I've gone ahead to sew. So I just want to illustrate for this first part. So you go ahead to sew on the part of the where you have the boning first. And after sewing, what you want to do is fix the plastic boning. So just ensure that when this your plastic boning, you should have about half inches space. So for this part that I did, so I want to go ahead to repeat, sew the lines there so that there will be space to be able to fix your plastic boning. So I'll just go ahead and do this for the other parts. And this is what I also have after sewing it. And I'll just go ahead to place my plastic boning. So the reason for this placing this plastic boning this way is for it to have firmness and for it to give your back good structure. So after placing all of this and doing all of this, you just want to sew. Don't forget again, please, there should be half inches allowance. Like the boning should not, this plastic boning especially should not get to the end of this. So I've done this for the two parts here, and I would just want to go ahead and iron. So just know that after this not this, I think there's still remaining one part for me to do, which I'm going to go ahead to handle. I just wanted to illustrate and show you how I went about. So when we are done with that, so the next one I want to do is to sew it here. So you go ahead, if you did not use hemming gum to join your line to the your lace to this, and place your lace and place it just like I'm illustrating here, and just go ahead to sew in by 1/2 inches. So you do this for the both sides. So I'm done with that here, and the next thing is a yoke part. So before we do this yoke, I just want to illustrate, but I'll have to use my bias to close the neckline and close the keyhole part. So I just want to illustrate how this should be. Okay, so I'm done using my bias to close both the neckline and the keyhole part. So what we want to do now is to sew our lining, and I'll just be showing you how you should place this. So you go ahead to get the part that fits this and place it. So I'm just trying to like hang. So you just place it like this, and after placing it, you use your lining to place it like this. Please, I just hope this is understandable. You place your lining where you go ahead to sew the neck part, and you could also sew the keyhole, but I think I'll just be sewing the neck part alone. And you go after sewing this, placing like this, you could actually use the office pin to hold it. So after sewing this, the next thing you want to do is to turn it over, and you just go ahead to sew by 1/2 inches round. Okay, so this is what I have after sewing. So I just was looking forward to like placing the both sides side by side to see what it looks like. But the next thing we want to do after this now is to sew this to the front and join the shoulder part and also the sides, and usually we are done with the up part of this, and the next thing we'll be going ahead to after joining this to the front is the peplum part and the sleeve part, which I think I'll be doing in the next video because I did not want this video to be very long. So for this now, you just go ahead, place it that way on the shoulder part, and you go ahead to sew in by 1/2 inches, and you place on the side, you go ahead to sew in by 1 inch. So this is the end of this video, and I'll did this the link to the next video will be in the description box. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and please don't forget to drop a beautiful comment. And if you have any question, you could also drop it in the comment section. I promise to attend to it. Thank you very much for staying till now.